We're all adjusting to these new times, and the video conferencing app Zoom has become an important tool for people across the country lately. It's kind of part of the vernacular, right? Now something called Zoom bombing is disrupting people's meetings, including those right here in Utah. Our tech reporter Jordan Hogan joins us live with more on what Zoom bombing is and how we can prevent it. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, Amy. Yes, so Zoom bombing is where someone takes control of a meeting when they shouldn't and perhaps shares some inappropriate content at the same time. So here's how you protect yourself from it.
Start by going to the Settings section of your Zoom account and clicking on the Meetings tab. This is where you can lock down the meetings you host and make it so no one else gets in.
As the host of the meeting, you have all of the controls at your fingertips to remove anyone from the meeting that may have joined accidentally at the wrong time or isn't supposed to be there at all.
The first thing Zoom staff recommend is using the waiting room feature.
The default that Zoom will apply will say all participants. This will enforce every single person to hit the waiting room before the meeting commences.
Anyone in the waiting room has to be approved by the host. You can also adjust this for guests only so that people who are signed in with their organization email can jump on the call and bypass the waiting room. The next step is making sure you limit who can share their screen. The safest option is to make it so only the host can screen share. Of course, there are times where organizations and classes need to be able to show something in order to explain it.
If somebody else starts sharing before they can share that content, you as the host will always have an emergency red stop share button at the top of your screen as well.
Luckily, we haven't experienced huge issues with the Zoom bombing.
The director of Weber State's online education program, R.C. Callahan, says he and his team have gone through these steps and others to prevent someone from Zoom bombing them. Callahan suggests muting all participants before the meeting starts, disabling screen sharing, and turning off the private chat feature, as well as being sensible about who you share your meeting IDs with.
Don't post your links to your meetings on social media. We don't want people jumping in that aren't authorized to be there.
He also suggests not using your personal meeting ID where possible.
These are like meetings that go on forever. They just don't stop. So if you're sharing out your personal meeting ID, people may jump in there after the meeting's done.
Another safe option is scheduling meetings ahead of time because they let you set a password that participants need in order to access the meeting.
You also have the option to use one of Zoom's single serve random meeting ID so that this meeting ID can't be shared externally to your organization multiple times.
Callahan says you should also not share any personal information in these meetings.
The information that you're sharing, just think of it as it's going to be out there. So do you want this personal information to be shared among the general public? If not, you probably shouldn't be saying it in an online web conference meeting.
So Zoom says that as of today, password protection and the meeting rooms will be enabled automatically to try and prevent this from happening. And hopefully that does help out. I know I've had a few Zoom calls where I've had to double check all my settings to make sure that everything is okay. Amy?
I know, we're doing it all the time now. Even with my 4 boys at home, they're all on these Zoom calls with their classrooms. So it is becoming something we're all taking part in these days. Some good advice.